It's Andrew and Adam back again, coming at you with another awesome news video. It's your second dose of news today. Come on, let's get the cans on it. Here we go. Should we do the headlines?
Yeah.
Yes, come on. Go ahead. A crazy Nixed WWE Saudi Arabia match has been revealed. Tyson Fury has called out Drew McIntyre. And Randy Orton has commented on the backstage heat between himself and Matt Riddle. We'll tell you more shortly. So we're kicking things off with my favourite kind of news story. It is crazy Saudi Arabia plans. And this is regarding a match that was scheduled to go down. Didn't. Who knows if it'll happen in the future, but this is absolutely bonkers. My son Andrew is here to tell you all about it.
I certainly am. So Fightful has heard of some plans for a past Saudi Arabia show that was supposed to happen and didn't. We've heard the rumours of the General Sports Authority wanting wrestlers who had long since passed to appear, and talent had heard that too. However, there were plans for WWE to run with a match with Hornswoggle on one of the shows. It got so far that Robbie the Giant, do you know how to pronounce this, Adam? Go on.
Araujo, I believe.
Araujo. So Robbie the Giant Araujo was actually flown over to Saudi Arabia and was not used according to talent. And Araujo appeared on Micro Championship Wrestling and appeared on WWE TV in the past as JB Elf.
So just to clarify, Robbie isn't a giant. He is also a little person. This comes following all of those reports that surfaced a little while ago about WWE wanting to book the likes of the Ultimate Warrior, of Yokozuna, who have obviously both since passed away. And they're essentially looking for attention-grabbing matches. What would you call this sort of match?
I genuinely, I don't know, Adam. I actually don't know. Just the idea of wanting to book this in the first place.
It's a weird one because when Hornswoggle came back in Saudi Arabia, because he was at the Greatest Royal Rumble show, wasn't he? He got a hell of a pop, a real massive pop. So I can understand why they would want to use him again, and he was on WWE TV for a long time. It felt as though the crowd really enjoyed seeing him. But apart from his time as JB Elf, obviously Robbie hasn't done much else in WWE. This would just be an exhibition match, and who knows? Anything can happen in Saudi Arabia. Despite the fact that they are so problematic and wrong, they have thrown up some memorable moments, shall we say the least. And it wouldn't surprise me if we do get something like this. So fingers crossed we do get that dream match in the not too distant future. Speaking of dream matches, what a segue. Tyson Fury has once again called out Drew McIntyre, posting a story on his Instagram account. And he said in this is a special message to my long-haired boyfriend, Drew McIntyre, who can't stop thinking about me and can't stop talking about me. Drew, you want a good hiding? I'll give it to you. Anytime, any place, anywhere, as long as WWE pay me about £1 million, and it's a UK pay-per-view. No, I think that's probably where they're going with this. They've given him a bit of direction to start ramping it up again because surely they're going to want to be in the UK. That was the original plan for a headline match when they were going to do a UK pay-per-view, which obviously didn't happen because of COVID and all that. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it. I mean, obviously, we've seen Tyson in the ring with Braun Strowman before, and whilst it wasn't a bad match by any means, it was pretty good to say that he hadn't been training for long and got in there and he held his own and he did a decent job. And I think it was all right. If they do a good job of this, I think because of how good Drew McIntyre is as well, I think they can really work something out.
Yeah, you know what? I'm a little bit more into it with Drew not being WWE champion. I don't really want to see a WWE title match between Tyson and Drew. Just as a showpiece match, it's a bit of a money match, really. The intrigue would be there, and if they're looking for lots and lots of press coverage, that's the way to do it. So stay tuned, because I think we're probably going to get that match sooner rather than later. I would suggest even this year. I think it might be doable, and we'll see how Tyson does this time around. Backstage now with Randy Orton, who there have been reports of heat between him and Matt Riddle for a little while, and he's spoken about this on the Kurt Angle show. And what's he said, Andrew?
He said lots of things, Adam. Let me tell you what he said about Bifter, smoking Bifters, let me tell you. The funny thing with Riddle is, when I first met him, we were in Miami.
That is funny.
That's good, that. You always throw me off. The entire locker room of NXT was in Miami. So now our locker rooms, which aren't the biggest, are now jam-packed with NXT guys who aren't working the show. But, in the wrestling business, you bring your gear to the show anyway. You were always prepared, brother. You were always prepared, brother. And so you got all these NXT guys with all their plops taking up all the space in the locker room. Me, especially being a vet, being around for a while, and I see this, and now I already got a hard-on for these guys, right?
Yeah. I don't think he knows what that means.
I don't think he does.
He means that he's already a bit annoyed with them, but he's saying he's got a big throbber for the NXT lads.
One of them on, and I don't know what's going on. So he goes on to say, so it doesn't help when I walk by Matt Riddle, and my olive branch was basically me all looking at Matt. This is what the quote says. It's very, obviously, because it was on a podcast, hard to sometimes decipher. And maybe I go, oh, there he is, just to break the ice.
He is.
Just kind of an icebreaker, expecting maybe oh, hey, Randy, my name is Matt, nice to meet you. But instead, Matt just kind of barely, with the bloodshot eyes, glanced over me.
Obviously.
And he just kept walking. I remember thinking, that mother flipper. Whew.
Wasn't happy. And he says for a while he didn't like Riddle, and it was because of that little scenario. One little incident. He took it as a lack of respect. And when you come back here, you're brand new and no one knows you. You just want to introduce yourself because we are a band of brothers. I've got to trust you with my body in the ring, and you the same. You've got to trust me. We should probably make an introduction at some point. We should probably shoot the poo a little bit. And so, Matt Riddle, I love the guy now. This follows reports as well that Randy Orton had been specifically asking to work with Matt Riddle. Obviously, they are now simply teaming together as RK Bro, which should be pretty decent. I mean, he's somebody that, I think Matt Riddle gains quite a lot from that partnership. Being in there with just such an experienced vet like Randy Orton. I think it's got a bit of potential. Sure, it's a little bit thrown together. Maybe it's just because they came up with the name and thought, go on, let's do it. Let's do it. But I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes for sure. And it's good to hear that they are BFFs now. That's the nicest part of that story. AEW now, and the Blood and Guts show. Now, there's been various reports about what this show is going to entail. Sean Ross Sapp recently tweeting, so Blood and Guts will not be a one-match show. If you're watching on the telly, David Bixenspan has followed this up saying, according to a person familiar with the matter, it's going to be a one-match show for the live crowd, with other matches taped earlier or shown on the big screen. Refunds will be available in the first 45 minutes or so for anyone who was confused. So if you are turning up there, you're probably only going to get one proper match live, but it's, according to all reports, it's going to be a bit of a lengthy one anyway. Yeah. So it's still great value for money. I think it's only $20.
You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with that. Exactly.
Can't go wrong. What's the rest of the card there, Andrew?
So we've got SoCal Uncensored versus Jurassic Express versus Varsity Blondes versus The Acclaimed, and that's a 4-way tag team match for a future AEW World Tag Team Title Championship match down the line.
SoCal Uncensored have got that, surely.
Yeah, I reckon so.
They're going to have to Splitsville, if not.
I like Varsity Blondes, though. I kind of want them to win,
Yeah,
I like them. I don't think they will, but I like them. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, we've got Britt Baker with Rebel versus To Be Announced Yet. Ooh, mysterious. We've got Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall, which should be pretty good as well. Yeah. And Kenny Omega and Michael Nakazawa versus Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston.
Nakazawa's going to get his face kicked off, isn't he? He's going to take a hell of a beating there. And of course, what's the main event? The hour-long big boy.
The spectacular. It's the inner circle.
The inner circle.
It's the inner circle versus the pinnacle. Woo!
Versus the Zinnacle. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it.
It'll be good.
And we're finishing off with an interesting note. Braun Strowman has made history. What's he done? Andrew?
Let me get my notes ready, Adam. I'll tell you what he's done. I'll tell you what he's done for history.
I've been waiting for somebody to do this.
So, WWE Stats and Info on Twitter, which is at WWE Stats, said, you requested it. And we researched it. After receiving nearly 1,000 records, our data shows that this Monday on WWE Raw, the one that's just gone, Braun Strowman became the first superstar in history of WWE/WCW/ECW to compete in televised singles, tag team, and handicap matches all in the same night.
Never been done before in WWE, WCW, ECW. We've been waiting. We've been waiting with bated breath for somebody to finally do that, and that honor goes to the big train man, Braun Strowman. Just in case you didn't see it, those matches were Braun versus Mason T-Bar, the handicap match, and then it was turned into a tag match, Mason T-Bar versus Drew and Braun, and then later in the night, Drew versus Braun. And there you go. It's huge for Braun, so do tweet him and just say, congratulations, mate, because we're all absolutely buzzing for him. It's just huge. Just awesome. Andrew?
Yep.
Take care of yourself, my friend.
Love you.
It's a bit sinister, that, wasn't it? Take care of yourself. Yeah, you're going to need to. See you in 5.